can you just, if you're watching already, can you let me know that you can see our live? We've had a few glitches this week where the social channels, we've gone live and nobody can see it. Can you just let me know you can see the slides and you can see us? That would be awesome. If you can see us here, that would be wonderful. Can you see us? That would be fantastic. So if you can see us, awesome. We are a few seconds delayed. Please let us know in the chat that you are here, and we will crack on. We're a little bit early, but I just like to come on a little bit early just so that everybody knows that we're here and it's easy to see us. So if you can see, please let us know. Hi, Andy. Perfect. You can see us. Hi, Patricia. You can see us. Yeah, we're starting in about 5 minutes. Awesome. You can all see us, which is good. We're starting about 5 minutes. So grab, as I would say, I'm a northerner. So grab a brew, get some notepad and paper, and also we'll do some questions as well. So if you've got any questions, please write them down. My goal for you tonight is that you will know how to write a social media post that will get the attention of your customers. Hi, Mandy. Hi, Helen. Hi, Kareen. Hi, Matthew. Hi, Joseph. Hi, Naomi. You will know how to construct a social post that will actually attract your customers. Hi, Teresa. You will also understand the keys to constructing content that gets people's attention. And I may well deviate a little bit because I'm going to try and share some of the ways that you might go wrong with content that actually puts people off. Hi, Judith. Hi, Alan. Wales, Portugal, anybody from the US here? Bolton. Hi, Becca. Spain, Dubai, Athens. So we will start in a few minutes. We're just letting everybody join. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Deck. And in 3 minutes' time, we'll kick off. Santa Fe, East Dulwich. Awesome. Please have your questions ready because we'll do questions. I kind of do them as we go, but we'll get started in maybe 3 minutes. So hopefully you've got a brew and you've got a notepad and pen. That's really important. Florida. Judith, can I just say, Denver, Colorado. I've been to Colorado Springs. I've been to Florida, Honduras, Wisconsin, and Texas. So I've been to Texas briefly. I love the US. I love out there. San Diego, California, Glasgow. Ryan, welcome. So we'll start in maybe 2 more minutes time. So bear with us for a couple of minutes. Let's let everybody join and then we'll kick off. South Wales, Ruth, welcome. As I said, we're going to hit about content. There's lots of wonderful, fluffy content you can put out. I'm not talking about all the wonderful, fluffy stuff. I'm talking about the stuff that gets the attention of your prospects. And I'll show you a post that made me £100,000. I'll show you why I did it and the way I did it. And some of what I'm going to show you is actually counterintuitive. But when you do it, Austin, Texas, our US office is in Austin. So when you do this stuff, it seems counterintuitive. But when you implement it, it actually does get you results. So we're going to start in 30 seconds. If you're here on our YouTube channel or you're on our live on the Maverick company page on LinkedIn, please go give us a subscribe, give us a follow on the pages. And then when we do more stuff like this, you get more information about what we're doing. So please do that kind of thumbs up, like, all that kind of stuff. You know, we live in a world of algorithms, and I'm going to speak to you about algorithms in your content. You need to understand that what you're doing with content has to play to the algorithms. And if you don't do that, you can have the most well-constructed piece of content and it will go nowhere. Now, I'm not going to teach you how to go viral or anything. I'm going to teach you how you can create content that will help you sell. help you sell stuff without doing the pushiness and without feeling like you're prostituting yourself either. So we're going to kickstart. Hi, Dorinda from Wimbledon. Hi, Emily from Plymouth. Emily, I'm in Plymouth right now. I mean, literally, there's the A38 just over there. I don't know. You can't see where I'm pointing, but right. So let's crack on. We'll go through this tonight. Store up your questions. The section at the end, I'm going to teach you the 100K post. There's no big promo here, by the way. This is something we do. And our mission as a business, which I'll share with you now. So there's no big promo. So there's no reason to go, oh, I'll dart off at the end when they go into their sales pitch. There will be no sales pitch tonight. If you think we can get you results, you'll come find us. And that's the way we work. We'll follow up and tell you about it, but that's about it. But you're getting complete training for the session tonight. So why are we doing these sessions? Why should we give away stuff that you can use that will help you get results? Because one of our overriding principles as a business, when I founded the business, is we want to help 1 million businesses grow their revenue, the margin, and the profit. Now, some businesses will work with us directly, and other businesses will just go, you know, that idea has actually helped me do something, and you'll run along and go do it, and it'll be great for you. So that's why we do it. Mission: 1 million businesses grow their revenue, margin, and profit. Okay, so what we're going to cover tonight is just some simple basics of what content marketing is, what gets people's attention, how to write copy that sells, the 100K social post, and some content frameworks you can work with. Really, really simple. I'm a firm believer. Hi, Claudia from New York. Hi, Marina from Chicago, and Billy from Manchester, and Steve from Chicago. I'm a firm believer that content has to be straightforward. If it's not straightforward, you won't be able to do it consistently. And so before I get into anything else here, the first thing I want to say is you have to implement this consistently. If you go and do this once and go, ooh, I didn't get a result, not doing that again, good luck to you, but that's not going to work. You have to play a consistent game with this. So if you go check out some of our Trustpilot reviews, you'll see some people who've been on our free training have implemented this and closed sales straight off once. But realistically, you should be doing this every day for 2 reasons. Number one, find your rhythm, find your message. It will help you refine your message if you post regularly. And number 2, it will help you get more awareness with the people you want to do business with. So content marketing, the basics, and I'm going to brush over this because it really is so simple. It's all of the things, all of the channels that you might be thinking of: blogs, posts, videos, white papers, emails, webinars. It's basically content to help turn a stranger into a client. That simple. Content, turn a stranger into a client. That's what content marketing is. Hi, Jay. Hi, Andy. Hi, James. So that's all it is. It's using this content to get people convinced that you can help them and they want to buy. So you provide value to your prospects, simple stuff, so they can see for themselves that you can help them. Now, notice how I put that there. They can see for themselves. Matthew's absolutely right. Consistency is key. And Matthew, I was on a call with Matthew this morning, actually, who's been doing some of this stuff. And he said to me, I'd spend all my life on LinkedIn. That's where I get all my business from. I love it. So you have to provide value so people learn that you can answer their problem. You can't tell people, you can't say, I can do this, and people will believe you. They have to see it for themselves. So the consistency angle, that being consistent and consistently doing content, producing content, putting it out, actually helps people believe in you. And when people believe, they buy. So how can you make this work for your business? So let's kind of start digging in. So some of you know me well. I talk about this chart a lot, and it's because it's the most important chart you understand in all of what you're doing. Right now, whatever product or service you're selling, doesn't matter. just a tiny fraction of your audience are actually looking for what you've got to offer. They're Googling, they're going out to tender, they're yellow pages, whatever they're doing it to find people. But the vast majority, 90% of your potential client base are not looking for what you've got to offer. Now, that what most people do is they focus in on the people who are actually looking, but where the real money in your business is locked up in this 90%. The real potential here is locked up in that 90%. And so you have to show them, and maybe ask yourself this question. How many times have you asked yourself, people don't see that they need us. People don't understand what we do, and so they think they don't need us. When actually, you know, a lot of your prospects, a lot of your potential clients need your service, but they don't see it. They can't connect the dots that you can help them. And so if you're pitching, if you're doing your content to appeal to the top 10%, you disqualify the 90%. But if you talk to the lower 90%, you actually appeal to the top 10% too. And I'll show you what I mean. So if you write content in the top 10%, so things like how SEO can grow your business, yeah, you're attaching a label to it, SEO, or how 10 tips for SEO, yeah, that is appealing to the top 10%. When you get a LinkedIn message from somebody say, hey, do you need SEO? They're appealing to the top 10%, the people who are actually looking. They're trying to find the needle in the haystack. Whether you use this as content or selling strategy, it's the same thing. You're appealing to the top 10%. When you appeal to the lower 90%, you bring the top 10% too. Yeah. And that's what's really, really important. Before you get into what should I write, you need to grab this, because this will change the way you think about selling and about content. If you appeal to the lower 90%, you grab the top 10%. If you appeal to the top 10%, you have to be very focused, very specific, very targeted. And so what happens is you end up eliminating the 90%. So let's just look at the stages of the sale. You might go, hang on a minute. I came for you hear my northernisms here, Northern British. I came for a content workshop. If you don't understand the stages of a sale, you will never be able to write decent content that actually gets people saying, I've read your article, I've read your post, can we have a call? Or you're putting a post out with a link to book a call, and people are actually booking. You won't get there if you don't get this. So this is the summary of how people go from not knowing what they need all the way to a sale. So the first thing that happens to a prospect is they become aware of their own problem. So what is their own problem? Our websites. I'm going to use SEO as the example because it's a common one I see. We're not getting any leads from our website. Nobody's visiting our website. Yeah. They've suddenly realized they've got a problem. Then they become outcome aware. In other words, they still haven't decided on SEO here. They're just thinking about the problem. Our website's not good, getting us any sales. It's not getting us any results. We're not getting leads. We're not getting inquiries. You know, it feels like the website's a waste of space. That's where the problem is. Then they start to think about the outcome. We should be getting leads. The size of business we are, we should be getting sales. We should be getting people submitting inquiry forms. We should be getting traffic on our website. The traffic should be higher. Yeah. They start to think about what they want. Yeah. Problem, outcome. Pain, result. Yeah. That's what they're starting to think here. Then they reach a point called decision to change. In other words, we need to do something about this. Yeah. They still haven't decided at this point how they're going to fix the problem. They're just going, we should do something about this. And then that's when a member of staff goes, how do you get more leads from your website? How do you get more traffic on your website? How do you do all of this? And they start to think about, how can we fix this problem? And then at that stage, when they've said, we've got to do something about this, and they start thinking about how can we do things, they start to discover solutions. Yeah. SEO, pay-per-click, and optimizing your landing pages and all these different things. And then they decide which solution they're going to pursue. Not the company, just the answer. So should we do PPC or SEO? I like the sound of this SEO. Let's do this SEO. And statistically, in a B2B environment, 80%, according to HubSpot, 80% of B2B buyers at that point, when they decide we need SEO, they buy from the first person they spoke to. 80%. And so if you're appealing to people at the top of that process, remember that chart here? Yeah. You have to be bloody good. You have to be the first person to speak to them. You have to be the top of Google. Yeah. You have to be the first person statistically to win the business. You have to be first, which is for most businesses near on impossible to be first on a scale that works for them. So what's the answer to this? What's the answer? And sorry if you come for content and I'm teaching the fundamentals of sales first, but if you want your content to sell, this is important. So here's the answer. People start on this journey and they move closer and closer to a solution. So the extreme example of this is a business who gets all the way to the far right on your screen here, and they're like, let's go to tender. Let's create a tender document, send it out, and we'll qualify people. The closer you get to that extreme right of the page that you see on screen, the more competitive it will be, and the more likely you will be selling transactionally. You will be seen and evaluated against other people, and so margin will be under pressure. Profitability, competitiveness. As competition increases, margin usually decreases. So think about that. It's really, really important you get your head around this, yeah? Because this will change the way you do content. So here's how you get and hold attention. Yeah? You focus on this first part, yeah? This bit here. Focus a lot of your content. Yes, you can do other stuff and top tips and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to sell stuff, focus here. Make all of your sales content around this bit here. Problems and outcomes, problems and outcomes. That's where you grab people's attention. So let me show you what that looks like. Effectively, every one of us, every single one of us, whether we're selling a product, a service, whatever it is, consulting, coaching, creative, advisory services, it does not matter. People are in pain. They have a situation in their business they want to change. And your job is to talk to their pain and show them an outcome. Not show them the answer, not give them all the answers, but show them their pain and show them there's an answer. And that's how you get people to pay attention. Yeah. So in a little while, I'm going to show you my 100K post. I'll show you the 100K post and how I did it. And you'll go, is that it? And I go, yes, that's it. I didn't even have to talk about how wonderful I was. I didn't have to say I'm this, I'm that, and the other. I just talked to a pain and showed them an outcome. And think about it like this. People are in point A right now. There's a situation in their business. Now, you might go, is your SEO not performing? That's a bit specific and very narrow. But if you said, is your website a joke? Is your website not performing? Are you not getting inquiries from your website? You showing people a pain. Then you show them an outcome of what they could get. What if they could get inquiries from their website every day? What if they could get customers visiting their pages and learning more about their products on a daily basis? You start to talk about those and you'll start to grab and hold people's attention. Pain and outcome. Now, what a lot of people do is go, oh, let's rush through the content. Let's go, do you have this problem? And then immediately dive into, we can solve it. We've got this, we've got that, we've got the other. Forget that. Yeah. Forget the propaganda. You don't need it. Think about what your aim of your content is. Is your content to convince people? Let me ask you a question. Is your content, and answer the question in the chat, if that's all right. I know it's a bit like, but this will be interesting for you to watch. Watch the comments in a minute. Is your content to convince people that your service is their answer? Say yes or no in the chat. Is your content's goal to convince people that your service or product is the answer to their pain? Is that what your content's goal is? Yes or no? And wasn't it? Hi, Andrea. Hi, Claudette there again. And hi, Andale. Hi, Helen. So is it a yes or a no? Is your content's goal the answer? Is the goal of your content to convince people that you have the answer? Yes or no? There's only 2 people answered. So here's the yeses coming. A few no's. Yeah. So there's a lot of people saying yes. And sorry, it's a trick question. Well, it's not. It's a trick question for me. The answer is no. Your content's job is not to convince people that your product or service is the answer. It's not. And you ready? Get your notepads, because this is the most important thing. The goal of your content is to convince people that you have the answer. You have the answer. Only when they talk to you can you show them that your product and service is the answer. So think of it about like this. My job with my content is to want you to know more. The job of my content is to get you to want to know more. And so you will maybe buy one of our programs, download one of our lead magnets, make an inquiry, connect with me on LinkedIn and ask me questions. My content's job is to convince you or to help you want to know more. That's what the job is, to help you want to know more. It's not for me to convince you that my product is your answer. It's just to convince you or help you want to know more. So it's a tease to a conversation. So if there's salespeople and marketing people here, your job is to get them, use your content to get them to book a conversation, pick up the phone, ring you, fill in a web inquiry form and ask, can you tell me more about this? That's the job of your content. Because for the vast majority of businesses, that's what you want. You want inbound inquiries. You want people to say, I've seen this. Can you help me with that? Yeah, I've seen that you could talk about this. Could you tell me more? And you book them on a call. That's the job. So it's not, to repeat, it's not to convince people that your product is the answer. That's propaganda. The job of your content is to convince people to want to know more. And that's where they make an inquiry or follow your call to action. So you're almost using curiosity in content. So you think about your service, yeah? Point A is where the customer is now. Point B is where the customer wants to be. The gap is your product or service, but they don't know it yet. They don't understand your product enough. You've got to help them understand it, and you want to be involved in that process. And so the gap, your product or service, is a vehicle that they don't understand yet. And so your content is just to help people see you can close that gap. You can get them from A to B. And if you want to know how we do it, that's where you make the inquiry. Alan, you can and you can't. People generally view the content in isolation. So they'll look at the content, read it, and if they're compelled by it, they will take the action that you've said on the on the post or on the blog or what have you. So think about it. That piece of content is self-contained. And this is really important if you're writing content too, is that you have to assume that that piece of content will be seen in isolation. So you might know things and assume things about that piece of content that they will not come with that point of view. They'll see it just as it is. So for an example, on some of my LinkedIn posts I put out, I do this very same model. I show people how I can get them to an outcome. I show them pain points. I talk about pain points. I talk about outcomes and tell them if they want to know how they can get there, here's the link. Book, find out more, all of those things. So that's the fundamentals of what you're trying to do. Weird thing about learning marketing. Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. So how to write copy that sells. So here's a few things that will help you. So just some tips that will help you write content. Yeah. Talk to one person in your content. So in other words, use the word you. Use the word you. Focus on the topic from their point of view. So don't bring your industry lingo and don't send your industry lingo, your jargon. Talk from the customer's perspective. How do they see the issue? And remember, the most important thing in your content is the gap between where they are and where they want to be. Really, really important. I'll come to some more questions in a second. I just want to get through some things so I don't leave anything behind, and then we can do Q&A and scenarios and all that kind of stuff. So here's some key things, whether this is social media, whether this is blogs, whether it's website copy, videos, white papers. And there's a big point I'm going to make here, because you can write the wrong white paper. And basically you can spend all this effort writing something that nobody reads. So what's your goal of this piece of content? That you need to be very clear. What do you want people to do as a result of this content? What's the value that you're going to be delivering? In other words, what's in it for them? What emotions are involved? And people go, this is B2B, there's no emotions. Yes, there is. That's absolutely emotions. Yeah. If you're helping a business where their project manager feels like they're failing, there's a lot of emotions involved. If you're talking to a marketing manager who's responsible for the website leads and the website leads are crap, there's emotions involved. There's fear, there's worry, there's concern, there's feeling like they let people down. There's lots of emotions involved. What's the next step? What do they do now? What's the call to action you want them to take? And how will they know you more? So I mean by how will they know you more? What's the stories that you're going to weave in this content that helps them know a bit more about you without turning it into propaganda or case studies? Yeah, these are really important points. And then finally, your headline, your title, your top line on Facebook and LinkedIn, there's a couple of lines at the top. They are critical to the success of the post. They will make or break your posts. They will make or break your webinars. They will make or break your white papers. So what do I mean by that? Well, two things. The first one is if you ask a question or a couple of questions in the first lines, I'll show you this in a second, you will actually get people to stop and think about the questions. If you ask one question, you'll get people to go, If you ask two questions, you actually get even more people to stop and pay attention, because they start to think about the questions. They start to internalize the questions. Where a lot of people go wrong is they ask a question and move on far too quickly. And so people haven't internalized the questions. Think about it. When I ask a question on this webinar, right, ask yourself this question. Would content that talks to your customers' pains get more attention? If you talk to the right pains, would it cause more customers to pay more attention to you in the future? So I've asked two questions, push them together to get you to consider something more deeply. So that's the first thing. How can you engage people and get people to just pay attention? Asking double questions, slightly different questions, but around the same pain point, can actually get people to pay more attention and invest more time into what you're doing. The second thing about the headline or title is that by choosing the right title, you can actually find the most interested people with that problem. So for an example, if I did a title of Content Marketing 101, I would get people who are generally interested in content marketing. But if I write content, how to write killer content that converts, I will attract people who are very, very keen to make high performing content. Likewise, I wrote an article maybe 2 years ago now that still kind of works for me, and I published it on LinkedIn. The reason why coaches struggle to get clients. So why did I pick that title? It shows people who it's for and talks about the specific problem those people have. And so the vast majority of people who view that post, not all, but the majority, will be coaches who struggle to get clients. So why does this matter? Well, if you're putting a lead magnet out there, a webinar, a post, the more specific you get, the more likely you're going to get the right people reading the post, the people with the problem. If you put out, would you like to grow your business? That's one thing. But if you put, would you like to grow your business, but you feel like it's an uphill struggle, you'll get people who are really frustrated. Yeah. So why does this matter? Well, if you produce a lead magnet with the right headline and title, you actually drag the right people. And so you don't get people who are just looking for information. You're looking for people who need an answer. You're looking for people who need help. You're looking for people searching for an outcome rather than people just browsing. They had 5 minutes, thought it might be interesting, and look at it one day. The more specific and the more smart you are with your titles and headlines, the more you will drag the right people to it. And so what you find, and I'll give you an example. I have a lead magnet, and somebody looked at it. One of our accelerator students looked at the stats and said, how is it you can get a 50% conversion on your lead magnets? And it's because I'm very specific about the titles and the way I put them together. So I attract the people in pain and looking for an outcome. That's why I do it the way I do it. And if you want to find some examples, come find me on LinkedIn or email us at hi@maverick.co.uk and we'll send you some examples. I've actually got a spreadsheet that I'll share with you in a second. You can ask us for it on email, which has got templates that you can use. Completely free. We don't sell it. We just give it to you. And if you get value from it and it's useful to you, go give us a Google review or a Facebook review or something like that. That's good enough for us. So next one. So this is some examples of headlines that attract people in pain or looking for an outcome. Yeah. So there's lots of different ones, and we've collated them around from lots of different places on the internet. We will happily share this spreadsheet. This is just a few of them. We will share this spreadsheet with you. I'll just put my email in the chat so that you can email us and ask us for it. And then maybe there it is. So let me put it on screen for you. Just 1 second. I'll put the email address on screen so you can find it. So if you want this spreadsheet, ignore what the caption says. It's just a pre-programmed caption. If you want this spreadsheet, just email us and say, can you send me the spreadsheet? And we'll send you this. Absolutely no problem. But it gives you thought processes of how can I word this differently? How can I write this post in a different way to hook people to pay attention to us, to really see that we know the answer to their problem. It's worth them wanting to know more. They need to know more from us. That's the goal of your content, to get people to want to know more. Yeah, all the time want to know more. So if everybody got the email there, I'll just move on to the next section because I want to respect everybody's time. So there it is on screen. Email us. We'll send the details over to you. We'll send the spreadsheet over to you. It's got all the different versions. Not all of them will be relevant. Some of them you'll go, that's not relevant to me, but there'll be something there that will help you and prompt you. Yes, if you email us as well, we'll send this presentation as well. So let's have a look at some copy examples, and then we'll do some Q&A. So this is one of my most favorite ways to write blogs and articles. So it's called the 5 or 6 Ps. You can actually write a webinar off the back of this as well. So it's 5, 6 Ps. I'll tell you why it's 5 or 6 in a minute. So the first one is the pain. Yeah. If you're writing this as an article, the first paragraph is about the pain. And you will ask different questions and put different scenarios together to explain the pain. We call this rubbing salt in the wound. If you've ever been to one of our events in 2019 or early 2020, we actually talked about this. You have to put salt in the wound to get people to pay attention. Stephen, yes, you'll get a copy of the workbook. That'll be emailed to you as well. If you want the workbook, email us. There is a charge for the workbook. If you've already ordered it, you'll get that as well. So pain is really important. Where are they right now? Rub it in. Don't just say one statement and move on. Give them different scenarios. So for an example, in my coach article, I might go, are you a coach who's struggling to get clients? Do you believe you have an awesome coaching program, but nobody seems interested? Yeah. These are just different scenarios to rub the salt in the wound. So email us, please, guys. Don't put your emails in the comments. Email us and we'll get it to you. So hi@maverick.co.uk. Hi@maverick.co.uk. So where are they right now? Then the picture, where do they want to be? Outcome again. Pain, outcome, pain, outcome. Then you can go points. So these might be value points. So in a webinar, there could be 3 points, or in an article, there could be 3 points. Then you want to do some proof. And this is an example of somebody that this article or webinar is about, who's struggled with the same problem and achieved an outcome using the call to action, the pitch that we're going to go to the end. So the idea is, let's say for an example, in my article, I'm sharing about Sally. Sally was a coach, former bank manager, struggled to get clients, was frustrated, thought about going back to a real job, full-time job, and was ready to give up on coaching. She booked a discovery call, a strategy session with me. I walked her through how she could do it. She put the mechanics together. She's a full-time coach, earning great money and doing what she loves. There's a proof story, but I inserted in that proof story the call to action I want the person to take next. Now, in different scenarios, it might be tricky to get your head around this, but it takes a little time, but think about this. So in the proof story, I've given them an example of somebody who's taken the call to action that I'm going to ask people to take in this article. So the principle is, if I want the person to do what Sally did, if that person wants what Sally got, they have to do what Sally did. Now, why do we put this in the proof story? Why do we put the call to action in the proof story? We put it in the proof story because it avoids that shock at the end of the article, which I'm sure you've all been guilty of at some stage, where you write this blog and then at the end you just dump book a call or something like that without any context to the above. And now when you put it in the proof story, there's no shock when they get to the end and realize there's a call to action that they need to take if they want more. You've actually pre-framed that that's what they need to do to get the result. That's what they need to make the result happen. And so that shock at the end, or that feeling of commitment that they have to make, is dealt with before they ever get there. So that's the proof story. Then there's the promise. Yeah. So the promise is, if a client has this problem, we will show them a way to get there, X, Y, or Z. And we do it using this thing, this service, this product, what have you. Then the pitch is literally the call to action. Now on websites, you can do a form, you can embed a Calendly link or some kind of appointment booking. On LinkedIn with articles, you can do the same. On posts, you can do a very similar scenario. You can put a link to a calendar booking appointment. I do that. When I do it, I get 5, 6, 7 appointments booked. So it's very, very easy to do. It's just about practice. Some of this is just practicing and kind of stretching those muscles that make this work. So copy examples. The next copy example is a bridge method. So this is a really simple way of doing it. So the bridge is about a before, after, and a bridge. So very similar to the gap: outcome, pain, outcome, gap. Yeah. So before, sick of wasting money in recruitment. hi@maverick.co.uk. hi@maverick.co.uk. Just check on screen, Sam. We have a funky way of spelling Maverick. So the bridge method is sick of wasting money in recruitment, want to recruit the right person the first time. Let me show you how. Very simple, but it will get attention. Here's another version, the agitation method. Sick of wasting money in recruitment, happy to keep wasting time and money, or are you ready to find a better way? Questions are your most powerful ally. Statements don't work, but questions get attention. Questions get people thinking. And when you get people thinking, they're focused on what you're saying. You're leading them. Nope, slip back. And so I'll just put the email address in there again, just in case you've got it. hi@maverick.co.uk. So this is a simple framework you can use. So you've got 6 rows and 3 or 4 or 5, depending on how many you do it, different ways to structure content. And this is the simplest way to do it. Really, really simple. So number 1, you just put, who is this for? What problem do they have? What's in it for them? What's in it for you? What's the next step? And what's the killer title? And the killer title is probably the last thing you want to think about. And so then you map out all of the details, and you can have this set up and you go, right, okay, this will keep me focused on writing something that will actually work, because you won't get sidetracked. You won't veer off into things. It's all about taking people down one road where they know you've got an answer, or they think you've got an answer and they want to know more. That's the goal. They want to know more. So very, very simple framework that you can use. So here, for an example, solopreneurs, they need to generate sales. Show them how LinkedIn can do it for them, and convince them we can show them how to make sales on LinkedIn. So that's what we've got to do. Convince people that we can show them how to make sales on LinkedIn on that one. And then what's the next step? Buy our LinkedIn training course. Yeah, very, very simple way of doing it. And you can build up these messages and go, actually, some of them we just have to convince people that we know what we're doing. Some people, we have to convince them. And that's why a lot of people look for PR and awards. They're trying to put out to the market that they are credible, they're trustworthy, they know what they're doing, they've got a track record. That's a goal of content, to establish some level of belief in the market that you can do what you can say you can do. Helen, they absolutely do work for professional services, because let me put an example. Helen, I don't know what area of business you are, but because you've said accountancy, I will use that as an example. So right now in the UK, we've got lots of people trying to complete tax returns in a mad scramble, right? Let's assume you're on the right social channel and you're in the right space and you've got the right audience. That's another conversation, not for today. We've got another webinar about that as well. If you put out and go, is anybody struggling with their tax return? Anybody fed up of this confusing tax return language? You'd get lots of people engaging. We are recording it, so if you want a copy of it, just let us know. Come find me on LinkedIn if you want to. If you ask the question about the pain they've got, you'll get the people who've got that pain coming forward. So, it can be anything from, are you drowning in HR? Are you sick of running your own payroll? Yeah. Are you sick of dealing with the mistakes from doing your payroll yourself? Whatever, whoever it is, it doesn't matter, big or small, it works. And so the message of the pain resonates with people all the way through the different levels of all the different levels of the sales process, but it gets people at the pain where before they actually have decided on a solution. So this is a really simple structure, really simple structure. So the 100K post, yeah, we will share the recording, but if you for any reason, aren't registered somewhere, you've maybe found this on YouTube or whatever, just drop us an email. We'll send it there. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. Dean Seddon, find me on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect with you all. So the 100K post. So this is a LinkedIn. I'm a good, avid LinkedIn fan. And so I did an email, a post about email marketing. I actually did a conference in 2018 when GDPR came out, and I was asked to speak at this conference about email marketing and the ICO and all of this kind of stuff. And so what I did is I busted a myth. Now, we have a worksheet you can get hold of that helps you understand the myths of your customers and the false beliefs of your customers and the pains and all that kind of stuff. So if you want that, just email us again. We'll get it to you. But I busted a myth. I showed a different thought. I didn't give all the answers. And I created a cliffhanger. I created a real stop. And this was a guy who runs an outbound call center who'd reacted to somebody sending an email, a marketing email. I know it's madness. They got a marketing email. They're an outbound call center, and they decided to lose their shit over it. So I wasn't selling a service. I was selling a conversation with slides of my presentation. And I showed that actually what a lot of people thought they knew about email marketing was wrong. And so this 100K post, it started with somebody made an inquiry. They said, curious what you did on your post. Went to a phone call conversation where I showed them more of what we could do. That's when I introduced them to the service and the way we work. Within 2 months of that, they'd committed to 100,000 spend with Maverick. Dead simple, he says. Now, there is an art to all of this. There is some practice, and you have to get into a routine. Now, Billa, the proof example absolutely has to be real. So if you're a startup business, for an example, and you need those stories, I actually, not everybody here is a startup, but if you are a startup, I would encourage you to do some free services to get those reviews so that you can talk about people where you've made a difference. You need those stories, not case studies. Yes, case studies will come along in the sales process, but you need those stories to share. And people love stories and to hear other people's stories and experience. So I wasn't selling a service. I busted a myth. I showed a different way of thinking about it. I didn't give all the answers. I just created a cliffhanger that people wanted to know more. They wanted to know how they could do it in a way that would perform, that wouldn't get them in trouble, and was compliant with all the GDPR. And within 2 months, maybe 3 months, they'd committed to £100,000 spend with Maverick. Yes, Marina, just email us hi@maverick.co.uk. The email address is on the screen. Email us and we'll send it back to you tomorrow. It's 7:45 in the UK, so it will be tomorrow before we send it out to you. But email us hi@maverick.co.uk. So this is really, really important. And I'm going to give you some last thoughts and then we'll do Q&A. And we're coming full circle. The majority of B2B sales need a conversation to convert them into a sale. And so the goal of your content is to encourage clients or prospects to want to have a conversation. Yeah. What I see a lot of people doing is dumping information at prospects. And then think about it. What you're effectively doing is providing information to them, far too much information, so that then they evaluate your offer, they evaluate your business, your proposition, with you not involved. because you give them the information whereby they don't need you to make a decision, which means you don't get to influence that decision. You don't get to guide the emphasis of what they're reading. It's all being read through their own vein, and you don't get to show them how it can make a difference. They're evaluating it based on the information you're throwing at them. And so the majority of B2B sales need a conversation to convert them to a sale. And so your content's goal is to convince them of the value of a conversation. So let me just, we're going to kind of wrap up in a second. The 2 ways to start a conversation, one of them is totally wrong. And if you want more information about this, I don't have time tonight, but this is another topic altogether. Tell people what to do and tell people what you do and try and start a conversation is wrong. Doesn't appeal to pain. It's focused on the purchase stage. It's very transactional. It's pushy. Buy my stuff. It's promotional. We can detect promotional. The other way, which is right, is to start a conversation and move it to talking about what you do. So the content is to line it up, set you up for a conversation. They'll start conversations through content, but they'll also take calls to actions to start conversations or to make an inquiry, which you start the conversation. It's relationship-centric. It's progress based on bite rather than hitting people up. It's problem-based or problem-focused, and it's informal, which is a much more comfortable way to do your conversations and to do your selling when people realize you've got something of value and they want to know more. So with that, any questions, please put your questions in the chat. I'll say whilst I'm here, if you'd like to find me on LinkedIn or connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm more than happy to welcome you into my network. That's a cheesy way of saying it. I'll just put my LinkedIn up there so you can come find me if you want to find me. Let me just zoom in. So, oh, wow, I've got loads of messages. So if you've got any questions, please put them in the chat and we'll happily how do content marketers write content for their clients when they are not specialists in these areas? So you've got a good point there, Carl. I think this is a real good point, and I'll tell you how they do it. So one of the things that people say about me is I can quickly understand customers and write messages. How? And if you've met any of our customers or any of our customers are in the chat, please, confirm this so I don't look like I'm bragging or bullshitting you. If you understand the pains, you can write content for anybody. If you understand the problems and the outcomes, you can write content for anybody. So again, we've got a pain point worksheet. You can download it. It's free, or we'll email it to you. And it forces you to ask difficult questions of your customers and your thinker in your customer's world. And when you do that, it basically gives you all your cues of what to write your content about. I mean, it literally answers. Pega, everywhere. Messages inbound, connection requests inbound, comments, everywhere it comes. Once you get prolific at this, not perfect, but prolific, and you build your network on your social media, all of that kind of stuff, you start to talk about the pains and you're connecting and friends with the people who are having those pains. It deals with itself. Now, yes, there's prospecting side of it. We're not covering prospecting and stuff like that tonight, but the content sows the seeds that prospecting can harvest and can harvest seeds that you've nurtured through content. So yes, it works in all the different places. 6 Ps and 5 Ps. So Maya says, you said the 6 Ps could sometimes be 5 Ps. Which one could be potentially eliminated? The points, Maya. So Maya, you could eliminate the points if you were doing like a sales letter where there wasn't going to be tips or value pieces involved. So that's where you drop it. You drop the points. Georgia and Jordan's just asked a really good question. So I'm going to put this one up. How does this apply when there isn't a clear problem? For us selling vegan t-shirts, I'm not sure how to find the pain. So Georgia and Jordan, I don't know which one it is. So one clear way you can do this is go, why do they want the t-shirt? They want to be proud about it. What's in it for them? So I'll give you an example. It's not a direct example, but it works. Why do people buy Lamborghinis? People buy Lamborghinis to solve a problem. Now, most people think, how are they solving the problem buying a Lamborghini? They want to show the world they've arrived. So if somebody wants to wear a vegan t-shirt, they are doing it to make a statement to other people. Why do they want to make a statement to other people? Right? Now, you might have to do some digging deep here, but people want to make a statement to other people because they want to align their identity. They want to align their identity with a cause, an image of themselves, or an aspirational element of themselves. So the Lamborghini people buy Lamborghinis to show to the world that they've arrived, they've achieved, they're successful. They want people to be in awe of their life. Yeah. Very few people buy Lamborghinis because it's a fast car and they go every week around the racetrack. There are some, the vast majority buy it to tell other people, look at me, I've arrived. Jordan and Georgia, think about that. It's about their identity. They want to align their life with an identity, and they can show it through their t-shirt. So think about that. Dig a little bit deeper. Go into some vegan groups and ask people, why would you wear a vegan t-shirt? Why would you wear them? And they will come up with it. They will come up with the answer and tell you in their own way. Why would people do it? And ask the questions. Yes, Becca, you shouldn't do this every single post. Yeah, these are your sales posts. So I always talk about a content sandwich. In other words, sandwich just general informational, personal stuff if it's your profile, social media profile. Break it up with some other things in between so it doesn't look like you're kind of real heavy duty. So break it up, sandwich it, sandwich your content, you're selling content around other things. Yeah, the environment, positive impact on the environment, Ruth says about wild ones. Yeah, absolutely. Alicia, how do you write content, talk about pains for healthcare distributors where purchases are driven by GPOs, RFPs? Many times price is the driver, not the actual product. So Alicia, we have a member of our team. It's far outside my expertise here, but we have a member of our team who's worked in that environment. And one of the concepts we talk about is dispositioning. So if you're at the RFP stage or the tendering stage, yeah, dispositioning comes in where you undermine the premise of what other people are doing. So you insert something into your tender that emphasizes a particular issue over and above what your competitors would do. What that tends to do, and I don't have a lot of time to go through it, what it tends to do is it makes them look at your competitors' tenders and RFPs as if they've omitted something. Remember, even tenders are evaluated by human beings and they decide, is this a good one, a bad one? Is this 7 points, 2 points? So you position something in the content of the tender that emphasizes a particular point, potentially where you know your competitors could be weak and you can be strong. So you emphasize it to show your differentiation. And when other competitors don't mention it, it highlights something very different about your offering. Yes, you meet the bill, you meet their criteria, but you emphasize something else. So I predominantly use this on LinkedIn and Facebook, but the principles will work on Instagram. It will work on TikTok. It will work everywhere. Just some quick things to note. Every piece of content, you won't get it right every time, but there's 3 things that your content needs to get reach. Yeah, distribution on a social platform. So you'll need to write this down because it's not in the slides. Number 1, your content needs stopping power. The visuals and the copy have to arrest people's attention. I've already told you how to do that with words. With visuals, you have to do something very striking, something that's out of the normal. Stock won't do, and everything samey corporate branding may not do either. I'm not saying change your brand. I'm not saying bastardize your brand. What I'm saying is if you do everything that looks so similar, people will assume it's the same thing. So stopping power. The next one is staying power. Staying power. Can you get people to stay on the post for longer than the average or the minimum for the platform? If you get people to stay on your post for longer than what the platform says is the minimum, you will get more reach, more distribution, more visibility. More people will see the post. So stopping power, keeping people for longer. So in LinkedIn, that's 3 seconds or more. I think on Facebook, it's 5 or 6 seconds. I'm not sure exactly what it is on the other platforms, but you have to get people to stop for a longer period of time. Then the next one is engagement. Are you asking questions? Are you encouraging people to like and comment? We all know likes and comments don't make sales, but likes and comments create more conversations and massively increase the distribution and reach of your post. So stopping power, staying power, engagement. And think about it. Is this post or this blog, is it encouraging people to comment? Is it encouraging people to react? Or is it just statement after statement after statement after statement? So think about that. Ryan, can I apply the pain principle when advertising my pizza street food trailers for weddings? Absolutely. You can talk about bored, or you want the boring classic weddings, something fun. Remember, what is one of the bride and groom's primary goals, other than getting married and honeymoon and having, they want their guests to have a really fun and enjoyable time. It's like a big deal. So how can you align your branding and advertising with real fun? You can't say, is your wedding going to be a disaster because you've hired a morbid caterer, but you can show how much fun and enjoyment. And Coca-Cola and the big brands are brilliant at this. They show happy people eating the food and drinking the stuff. That's why they do it. So that their picture, the picture you're presenting, is absorbed into their mind that they're fun. Yeah? Think lifestyle as well. Any more questions? I need a little drink now, sorry. So come find me on LinkedIn. Love to have you connected. I'm not going to hammer you with sales pitches. I preach against that. And obviously, if you want any of the resources we've mentioned tonight, so the spreadsheet with the headline titles and examples in there, I've put the email address on screen. Headline examples, the pain point worksheet, slides. The replay link will be available here, so you can come back to YouTube or LinkedIn or the Facebook group if you're on Facebook and see this again. But content is your biggest and most powerful tool, and it will pre-sell. Think about it like that. Content can pre-sell for you. So when people get on calls, they trust you, they believe in you, and they know what you're doing, and they value what you're doing. I've got nothing left to share unless there's any more questions. I told you I wouldn't sell anything. Nabila, it's all different on different platforms. On LinkedIn, at the moment, I'm encouraging people to post once a day. Get the post once a day right, and then beef it up after that. Claudia, niche sector. Claudia, it depends on, think about it this way, Claudia. You've got a very niche sector. So think about the ecosystem that you're building on social media or on your website. If you're doing, let's say it's your social media, you should be growing your social media profiles, not pages. Pages are more difficult. Grow your profiles with the people who are in that niche and churn content. I say churn, but you know what I mean. Put it out regularly, consistently, and you'll grab people's attention. Well, I'm glad you all liked it. Please, if you've got some value from it, come find me on LinkedIn. Give us a subscribe and a like on the channel on YouTube if you're there, or our company page on LinkedIn. We appreciate that. And if you've really got value, please do go to Google. It's really hard to get reviews because you have to kind of if you've got value from our free training, please go to Google Maverick, the spelled our funky way. And there's a review option, and just go, these guys, they give free training. It's good value, worth my time. You don't have to kind of make up shit. Just go in there, and if you've got value, just tell people you got value from some of their free training. That'd be cool. But more than anything else, do not, this is my northern grumpy here, do not just take this and do nothing with it. Go and practice and be prolific, and you'll find the more you do it, the better you get at it. Just as an aside, next week we're doing LinkedIn lead generation, I think it is. We've got a webinar on that, free webinar, how to generate leads on LinkedIn. Again, free. Go to Eventbrite, LinkedIn company page. You can register there as well. And all that's left to say is thank you for putting up with me for the last hour. Hope to see you again soon, and I'll see some of you on LinkedIn when you connect with me. So go do it, go practice it, and go make some sales with it. And I'll see you hopefully next week or on LinkedIn.